I try to be objective and honest and not let my emotions get in the way of stuff, but I'm triggered. How do I introduce a $479 backpack that requires an app? You know what, actually, I'm not using it. I'm boycotting it. If we can get this to work without the app, then I'm gonna show you how it works. So let's see what we have here. It looks like a hydration pack, and there's a hose going into here. Let's look at the instructions. I'm filling the pack right now. You put this in a dirty bacteria-ridden stream and it sucks the water into your backpack. That's actually kind of great. Yeah, if it's gonna be $479, it better do something cool. What else does it do? I didn't flush the pack first. That's rubber hose water. Okay, so we've got a lot to unpack here. First of all, everything is super premium, even down to the instructions on the website. Really, really well thought out. I assume this would be a little bit more practical at a full face helmet where you could fix it to something. On motorcycles where you're just racing through the desert and you can't take your hands off the handlebars, maybe makes sense to do this. And even the handlebar clamp and the button is really nice. I can't say anything bad about the build quality. I think I speak for everyone in the audience when I say I am profoundly uninterested in what the app does. Like, if I can get this working with the buttons, great. $479 for this? I don't know if this is what you need. I guess that's the price. It's not for me, but I can't say that I've seen anything like this. This shovel is $800, but before you get angry, let me show you what it does, and let me also show you what's in this backpack. These are Trail Boss Packable trail building tools. The company's in Bellingham, and these are all made in the USA. Kind of pricey, but they do a lot. It's a suite of trail building tools that you can pack up in your backpack. And yes, the entire handle breaks down as well. And it's lightweight. This is made of pultruded structural fiberglass. I guess extruded means it's pushed through, and pultruded is, I don't know. It's light and it's nice. Now the $800 is this entire 6-piece set, including the 3-piece handle. It comes with a McLeod, a Manic, a 13-inch saw head, a Trail Boss pick, a hard rake, and a round point shovel. And they are all very, very sharp. Even if you worked with them all day, you could definitely sharpen them again like you can any tool, but man, these edges are great. Now, if you just wanted to buy one and have a great trail tool that you could fit in a backpack, you're probably gonna want the McLeod head. And the 4-piece handle plus this head is $400. I got a 3-piece handle here and the head. Let's see if it's any good. Now, McLeods are often used for cutting fire lines, but trail builders really like them because you can cut and shave with this end, you can rake with this end, and you can pack with this. I'm gonna cut this root out of the trail and shape it a little bit and see how it works. You know, interestingly enough, most McLeods I've used are much heavier than this, and so when I originally swung it, I didn't realize how much force I was gonna have to give it. It's nice for portability, but when you're cutting into a trail, sometimes you do want something with a little weight. I suspect that'd be pretty easy to get used to because who wants a super heavy tool all the time? So now let's say I wanted to push this dirt back, pack it. You can also kind of chop and pull with a McLeod. So if you wanted to shave away the top layer and get down to fresh dirt, works well enough for that. And then of course it breaks down these knurled anodized screws. Unhook it, very nice, very smooth. And then you can take the head off for portability or to change it. This pole saw is actually amazing. The blade is made in Japan. They just make every part on this in the most expensive places possible. Now look, without testing all those other heads, I can tell you they're really, really nice. All of this is nice, but the price is just bananas. It's hard to justify if you don't do this professionally. I think this is gonna have a really niche customer base, But for somebody who wants the best of the best and just ultimate portability, it's out there, it's made in America, and it's by a small, passionate team. I would definitely use this, but I would have to think long and hard about paying that much money for it. That is steep. Kind of hard to give up the lightweight portability though. Not bad. Still quiet. Sounds like it's struggling a little bit. All right, somebody's got to get me down from here. Suppose you have a really heavy e-bike just like this, and you need to get it into a work stand. Well, you need to lift it up with one hand and then fiddle with the clamp with the other. Not fun. But as you can see, this bike is just levitating automatically. This is the Pro E-Lift bike repair stand by Feedback Sports. It costs just south of $1,300, although sometimes you can find it for cheaper. And actually, for a lot of people, this is gonna be well worth the money. Now, first of all, in some locations, there are laws against employees lifting more than 40 pounds by themselves. They need somebody else. Now you're paying another salary. So we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars you could save by having something like this, allowing one employee to work on e-bikes. However, this is actually designed for home use. They say it's for home use, but it's robust enough for professional use. And I gotta say, it's really well made. The clamp is kind of awesome. You hit this paddle and it opens right up. Then you can just push it onto the seat post and then cinch it down with a couple of turns. It's really, really quick. And actually, if you want to lift an e-bike, you barely have to lift it off the ground. You can just kind of wheel it over to the stand, open up the clamp, get the seat post in there, crank it down, and then you can lift it without holding it up and messing with the clamp way up here. It's pretty friggin' nice. When these powered bike repair stands first started getting popular, I was like, isn't that a little bit excessive? But when I heard about those lifting limitations, it made a lot more sense. And now that I've worked on a few really, really heavy e-bikes, I'm starting to see the light, and this is definitely gonna be my main stand. Would I pay $1,250 for it? Absolutely. This, if you work on a whole bunch of big heavy e-bikes, is really gonna save your back. It's super quiet, it's easy to set up. I just think it's pretty awesome, especially because a lot of competing stands are thousands and thousands of dollars. This is actually at a pretty low price point. This is the Helmate. It costs $15 and it's a helmet hook for your car. Actually pretty clever. Gotta give this good marks all around. First of all, it's 3D printed and it's not an AirTag holder. That's just major points right there. $15 is pretty fair for something like this, and I can't think of a better location for your helmet. All your gear is down here, and then you got your helmets hanging in the back. It's just clever and simple. There's not much to say about it. They did say it has a limit of 10 pounds. I suspect it would hold a lot more. This is pretty strong, but they're just trying to make sure you don't hang like groceries, like a whole bunch of cartons of milk from it. For a helmet, you're not gonna have a problem. I mean, the only problem I could see is that a lot of cars don't have removable headrests these days. They have power headrests, but in the back, in the trunk, they almost all do. And this is awesome. If I didn't have a pickup truck, I would probably use this. The Helmate, pretty smart, pretty cool, and it's a fair price. Someone scratched the dog filth out of this stanchion, but luckily, we've got the Stanchion Scratch Repair Kit by SendHit. Now on suspension forks and dropper seat posts and air shocks, if there's a scratch, it can weep oil, it can cause resistance. There's lots of downsides to having a scratch stanchion, and this kit is supposed to be a repair for it. Actually, it makes the stanchion smooth again, visually reduces scratches, prevents the risk of leaking, and it's usable for all stanchions. Let's see how it works with this scratch over here. Now on this one, it does say resin color transparent, so I don't think it's gonna reduce the look of the scratch, but I would assume you could also get it in black. All right, some nitrile gloves, polishing paste, hardener, epoxy resin. This looks like a project. And we've got here an instruction manual. Okay, pipette, test tube, check. Put the gloves on, shake the 2 bottles. Wow, they actually make this pretty easy. They give you everything. Epoxy, unscrew it, 1 milliliter. Add 0.5 milliliters of hardener, mix for 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, next step, meticulously fill each scratch with the pipette. I don't know if that's meticulous, but it says it should be concave afterwards, and so, yeah, Drying. Epoxy resin takes between 6 to 8 hours depending, oh, okay. Fast forward to tomorrow. Okay, it's the following day. It has been 24 hours and this thing is nice and cured. We're gonna move on to the next step, and it appears that they want me to just sand the thing. How am I not gonna also sand part of my stanchion? Does that matter? I'm just gonna follow the instructions. Wet the scratch a little, sand without using excessive pressure, and in the direction of the stanchion. What we're trying to do here is sand this until the bump is gone. So the problem is, I think this is gonna take 4,000 years. I made like a big bead of the epoxy resin. That was the smallest amount I could put there. I guess in the future, I would be more meticulous about it. We'll keep sanding. Okay, I can't say that I'm surprised, but I actually can't feel the scratch at all. You can see it's not really that shiny there anymore because I've been running sandpaper over it. But the next step is polish. Now what a polishing paste actually is a very, very minor abrasive. It's gonna sand it down to a really high level, like, so that's shiny. So let's wipe off this polishing paste and take a look. Whoa, it's like really shiny. I mean, I can't say I'm that surprised. I've polished stuff before. It's like the scratch never happened. We can see it, but apparently this is available in different colors. So I think you can just make it black and make your stanchion scratch disappear. Now, I've polished stanchions before in flip bike videos, and so you can get all the stuff I just used, you know, onesie twosies. But this kit has it all. $37 something, I think this is. I would highly recommend it, especially if you have a really scratched stanchion. You can absolutely restore it and maybe even make it look like it never happened. Cool product. I normally make a point of not reviewing prototypes, especially ones that are gonna be on Kickstarter, but this is kind of interesting, and so I wanna show you what these guys at Magburn are working on. Magburn is a training device that uses eddy current braking to make your ride harder without needing to ride faster. So as you can see, this device over here goes on your seat tube, and these two magnetic strips just kind of float along your wheel. It has to be a totally aluminum rim. You can see this back wheel doesn't spin for very long before it stops. That's because of eddy current braking. Now it comes packaged like this with this mock rim in the middle, holds it, stops it from moving, and then on the inside are all the parts. That's pretty cool multifunction packaging. Now I'm unable to really install this on my bike because the seat tube is round, and so this moves everywhere, but you're supposed to get it really close to the rim and it provides a little bit of resistance. That just sounds like something I would hate. I mean, I hate just using a bicycle for fitness. To me, fitness is a byproduct of a bicycle, but a lot of people do exercise on a bicycle, and how am I gonna fault them for not using a stationary bike, right? You go out on your bikeway that has a 12-mile-per-hour speed limit, and you wanna get a real workout. You're not gonna burn any calories at 12 miles an hour, and so this will give you a little bit of resistance. It's not rubbing, it's not friction, it's not causing wear on your rims, and you can get a better workout. I think it's a pretty smart idea. They even give you a little adjuster screw here so you can adjust how close the magnets are to the rim. The closer the magnets are, the more resistance it gives you. And I don't know, kind of cool. This would be a good product if they could figure out a way to get it to stay in place and to kind of work on a larger variety of bikes. A lot of road bikes have an oblong seat tube, and so that stabilizes it. In the case of my gravel bike, it does not. In my opinion, you guys should not do a Kickstarter. That kind of discredits things sometimes. Just put a pre-order button on your website. You're gonna get tons of exposure from this video, and I'm sure you will work out all the bugs. Stinks we can't pedal it around, but I don't know. Never seen anything like that, and to me, anything is better than a stationary bicycle. You're taking your bike out into the wild for some exercise, good on you. I hope you found these products interesting. You enjoyed taking a look at them as much as I did. I hope you saw something that you'd never seen before. Maybe you learned something, but if you didn't, maybe you found this video entertaining. I hope you did. Thanks for riding with me today, and I'll see you next time.